Hello, poster fans. We're back on the Psychedelic Art Exchange YouTube channel for our first video of 2026. We hope you had a great holiday season. We're ringing in the new year with the January Collectors Showcase auction. It's a great way to start the year, and it's running until Sunday, January 11th at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Now that all the boring stuff's out of the way, we're excited to tell you about our favorite posters in the sale, as always. So let's go.
Yeah, there are a few choice gems and very scarce items here, and let's just run through it.
It's what this sale is for, the real
that's
rarities, yeah.
true. And we start with a 1965 Jefferson Airplane poster at Harmon Gym at Berkeley, and this was a space that was used early on, 65 and 66. The Dead played there a couple times, mostly black and white posters. But this is, again, anything in 65 is sort of, the calm before the storm. The Airplane were a folk band at the time. Jack Cassidy wasn't even in the band at this time, and neither was Grace. And it was their pre-psychedelic rock era. And I mean, folk music was the thing in 65. And Dylan upset everybody when he decided not to be a folk singer and decided to be a rock star. But besides that, I mean, this is a super scarce early piece, and it also has Larry Hankin from The Committee. The Committee was an improv comedy group in the Bay Area, and Larry Hankin was one of the members, and he was part of Second City and all that. His probably closest claim to fame would be that he played Kramer within a Seinfeld within Seinfeld, when they did the episode when they were filming the Jerry, and he played Kramer. So anyhow,
Oh, okay.
It's kind of funny. Go back and look at that. Anyhow,
Sure.
But yeah, just early, scarce, ridiculous piece for those of you who are into the prehistory of the San Francisco psychedelic sound.
Very cool.
And moving along to 66, I believe we have a Birds poster from Washington that's gold foil, and it's it's showing its age and wear a little bit, but I don't think many of these exist in any kind of condition. Foil post.
I tried to find more examples of this online by doing like a reverse image search, and it was like the little Google AI thing was like, this is the BG whatever, the Wes Wilson poster, and I was like, no, it's not. So
yeah, the robots ain't that smart. They haven't replaced us yet. They can't have all this useless information in their heads. So we still have
and
value.
I don't condone robot usage, but it automatically happens when you search things.
It's kind of hard to escape it. We're all in this place now.
But anyway, running it back to way before robots, 1966 with the Birds. This poster's wild. The Birds were like pretty notorious for their lineup changes, and they had just sort of exited their initial lineup when Gene Clark, who was the primary songwriter, left the band, left songwriting duties to Roger McGuinn and David Crosby. And they put out an album called The Fifth Dimension just a few months before this show, which is their third album. First album without any Dylan covers, as we were talking about before we started filming. So this is still very early on in.
Yeah, this was folk rock, when that whole thing, that was preceding this got a little more rocking, and the Birds were instrumental. They, were really big at the time. They were, and their whole history is really filled with all sorts of brilliance through, Sweetheart of the Rodeo with Graham and Clarence White and all that. So, but this is much earlier than that. But yeah, this is a significant piece. So there you have it. Moving right along.
I'm sure we've talked about this before, but it's been quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, this is a poster I have to talk about because it's a show that happened, less than 10 miles from where I grew up, Painters Mill Music Fair. It was, and we have talked about it before because we've talked about the Tree Frog posters, but this is the most collectible, desirable, valuable of all of the Tree Frog posters because it's Derek and the Dominoes. Derek and the Dominoes, if you don't know the story, was a band that they put out one record together. They were essentially Clapton with members of Delaney and Bonnie, and it sort of led to a lot of troubles with Delaney and Bonnie. But Clapton and Bobby Whitlock, I guess, were the most responsible for putting together the songs, and they did. It formed around the time when Harrison was recording All Things Must Pass, and it came together there. And from there, they, the story is that then when they went into the studio, Tom Dowd was the producer. Tom Dowd was also the producer of the Allman Brothers. And at the time, they were recording Idlewild South. So, Duane was down the hall, and they brought him in for this, and it was magic. I mean, the record is one of the most memorable, wonderful, pieces of work, all about, Clapton's whole struggle with being in love with Pattie Boyd and all of that, and, all of his drama. He's a particularly dramatic individual in rock and roll.
To be.
Yeah, and then there was Duane Allman, at the time, and maybe still the greatest slide guitar player in the rock and roll genre. I mean, I can't say enough about Duane. He only played with the band like twice, and they weren't memorable. He was into the Allmans. They were creating something else, but the album is beautiful, and it's it's all filled with that those heartbreak songs and all of Clapton's angst. So, and there's not many posters for him, and this is one of the best. And again, 1970 Painters Mill Music Fair. It's a good one.
Very cool. How far is that from where you live now?
10 minutes. It's a BJ's Warehouse Club now. The place burned down suspiciously,
Cool.
late 80s, 90s. I mean, it's rumor and conjecture, but still, saw a lot of shows there in the 80s that were, quite spectacular. But anybody that gets this will get it.
Yeah.
And then another reasonably local venue for me is Lisner Auditorium in DC. I saw shows there, many shows over the years, including Talking Heads, Weather Report. I don't know, I can't remember, but this is Alvin Lee 10 years after, and it's signed. This is a beautiful piece, and there can't be very many of them. And I have one out of order. There's a second poster from the same venue, and this one is particularly fun to talk about for a couple reasons. This was Fairport Convention, which was an English folk rock band where my guitar hero got his start, Richard Thompson. So he was not in the band at this time.
After his time.
But this was Sandy Denny was in the band, who had the most beautiful voice. And Sandy, I mean, she died tragically at 31, like from a hemorrhage after falling down a flight of steps. She was, had a lot of alcohol issues and stuff. And so this is a notable piece. You don't see too much Fairport stuff that's this scarce and important. And then Weather Report. I mean, one of the greatest jazz fusion bands of all time, Joe Zawinul, Wayne Shorter. This was before Jaco Pastorius was in the band, but Chester Thompson played drums, and Chester Thompson was an awesome drummer. He played with Zappa and Genesis and Santana. Yeah, so this is a good local piece to check out.
Cool. Love
and
it.
now after that, we get to this festival that's pretty ridiculous. Anyhow, Emerson, Lake and Palmer was the headliner. They were the first real rock band I ever saw, and they were pretty spectacular. They got me into prog rock. It was bombastic and rock and roll, and I was like 14 or 15, and it kind of blew my mind. And also a very early appearance by Leonard Skinner. So I mean, this I think that's it, part 2. This was like a 3-part festival, and this was part 2. Okay, yeah. And Clapton played at one of them, and he was, not one of his best performances from the reports that we got. But yeah, it's this shows its age. But again, I don't think there are too many of these out here.
No, definitely not.
And I guess this talk wouldn't be complete if we didn't mention, at least one of the graded posters in the sale. And this one, FD13, it's such an odd piece. This was Mouse's first piece for the series, and it's a strange illustration, and it's Captain Beefheart, who's equally strange and wonderful. Not everybody's cup of tea. I think the best take I've ever heard on it was that somebody described it as sounds like a band falling down a flight of steps.
Falling down a flight of steps while continuing to play their instruments. I saw that online as like a review of a Trout Mask replica, and I sent that to you because I thought that was
and that stuck. That is
I've ever heard.
That were anyhow. Don Van Vliet, contemporary of Zappa. I think they went to high school together, and they did, they recorded periodically out throughout their careers. But this, the FD13, super rare piece, hard to find in top shape. It's always, off register too. Or I mean, there are very few really clean copies of this. This is really one of the rare posters in the early Family Dog. And if you need this to fill the hole, this is, an 8.0 is a really solid grade for this poster, in my opinion.
We don't sell very many of these. It's very, very rare.
So that's sort of is that it? Is that the wrap? That's the wrap. That's all we got to talk about today, folks. But I hope it was fun and entertaining.
Well, and there's a lot more for you to see and read about in our auction. There's 50 lots. And again, you can bid until Sunday, January 11th at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Time. All the links for the auction are in the description. And we are very glad that you're joining us again for another year of posters and hopefully some interesting music history.
Yeah, and more to come down the road. So thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.